Folks, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back in Total War Warhammer 2, and I've got some more replays from the Warhammer World Championship. Again, thank you to the folks who are hosting this and putting it on. There's been a lot of great action, and of course you can check out the website and stuff that is linked in the description if you want to go find out more about what is going on in the tournament. Anyway, I'm going to have some matches here that came from the playoff rounds. This is from the group of 16 players, so it's down to 16. And these particular replays are going to be between Dark Phoenix and Zero. So let's jump into the first one. Remember, this is a best of 5 series at this point, and let's see what we get. Alright, the first matchup here is going to have Dark Phoenix as the Greenskins, and his army is led by a Gabo Great Shaman on a Catchweb Spider Shrine up against Zero's Lizardmen. Is led by Lord Mazdamundi on Zlok. He is supported by a couple of Skink Chiefs. And then we're also going to have mostly Saurus with shields, or spears with shields, as the infantry. We do have the Thunderous one here, which is a very powerful unit against blobs of infantry. It has a lightning bombardment ability. Now, Mazdamundi is rocking the Net of Amontok. He's going to have some other abilities that make you aware of here. Ruination of Cities, which is technically a wind spell, but it's a good crowd control type of thing. He's also got Banishment. Mazdamundi is just really good at crowd control. So that's definitely what we're going to see him being used for here. The Greenskins do have some Goblin Wolf Rider archers and some Spider Rider archers working the flanks here. Kind of skirmish. We had some loonies let loose here from the Night Goblin Fanatics, and a little bit of damage done. Nothing tremendous. We also had some loonies let go here. So I like that these are being used to disrupt the Lizardmen charge. And obviously they're hoping to get more than one use because now they're falling back behind other infantry. They're going to let the goblins probably take the main charge. We do have a giant river troll hag here. It's got the Power Stone, Mither, and we're going to see Spirit Leech there as well. It's already a bit of an engagement here. Pterodon Riders trying to get into these Wolf Rider archers. Going to be some Orc boys to come reinforce. And Rusty Airs here supporting in the back. This is a great archer support unit. It rips off armor. Does a lot of damage and can help other units do more damage by taking the armor off of whatever it's targeting. See the Saurus spears here getting shot up pretty good. The Gabo Fanatics are going to come back in for round number 2 here. The Gabo Great Shaman is really going to be relied upon to get rid of the multiple large single entities that are here for the Lizardmen. And Lizardmen do have this nasty piece of work here, which is the Distillodon with Solar Engine. Greenskins only really, in my opinion, have two good answers to it, which is the Rusty Airs if you can get up close enough, which will be difficult, and the Gabo Great Shaman. Right now the Great Shaman is fighting the Thunderous one with the help of the Rogue Idol. Took a shot off of that Solar Engine. Mazdamundi is going to come in and support as well, so as to not let the Gabo Great Shaman get away with this for free. It looks like we had the Crown of Command used for the Gabo Great Shaman to keep his leadership at unbreakable. Timing. That's probably a pretty good idea. We got some Chameleon Skinks supporting this fight as well. The Greenskins taking a beating over here. I mean, there was some good damage done to the Thunderous one, but look, he's getting a heal here from Mazdamundi. It's Apotheosis. We got here Banishment. Yeah. Pretty good damage against the 8-peak Loonies, which is a unbreakable unit. Just kind of continue to look here. I mean, the balance bar is right in the middle, so it's a pretty close fight right now, but, I mean, if I'm just going to hazard a guess, I have a hard time imagining this Gabo Great Shaman taking down all 3 of these big single entities, plus the Skink Chiefs. The Rogue Idol could technically beat down the Skink Chiefs, but they're too fast, they can't be caught, and they've got a lot of ammunition that does pretty solid damage. I think the Greenskins need to deal with these Skink Chiefs somehow, but that's going to be easier said than done right now. They do have some Orc Boys and 8-peak Loonies who are getting out of their fights, which could be useful. Catching these units, though, will be near impossible because they're going to be poisoned. There are some Morgre's Mangy Marauders sitting back here, and then some Goblins and some Orc Boys who have regrouped. Probably want to get these units back into the fight as quick as they can. Let's see what's going on further up here. We got the Big Un grabbing pieces of himself so he can throw rocks. Looks like he's maybe trying to target. Yeah, he's targeted on Mazdamundi. Ooh, another ruination of cities here, which does devastate his own spearmen, but does tons of damage to the 8 Peak Loonies and the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers, while providing some protection to his own Sara spears. This is a good play by Zero. Like I said, Mazdamundi is really good at crowd control. He's got 175 kills. This guy is an infantry nightmare. Like, he is an absolute nightmare to infantry. Greenskins have cleaned out most of the Saurus infantry, but like I said, now they're stuck with the Solar Engine, a few Pterodon Riders, the Thunderous one. Mazdamundi is hurt, and there was a nice use of poison and other things to slow him down and keep him from escaping, which is going to give the Gabo Great Shaman and the Catchweb Shrine here a chance to catch up and try and do some damage. See Apotheosis going to try and heal some of it off. Nice support from the Rusty Errors right here. This is going to be very bad for Mazdamundi because it's tearing down armor, and he's just a big target. He's hard to miss here. But fortunately for him, he's got a lot of hit points, like a whole lot. And then the Thunderous one connects with these archers at a very opportune moment. We'll see Lord Mazdamundi charge on forward to the Morgrim's Mangy Marauders. Got a cold-blooded to try and keep his leadership up, though. A Spirit Leech coming in, so Mazdamundi is going to be in a world of hurt. But, oh boy, this is bad. Yeah, the Crown of Command actually kind of saving the Gabo Great Shaman here from routing. See how long it lasts. Oh boy, yeah, Mazdamundi in really rough shape here. Itchy Nuisance. He is taking some massive damage. Gabo Great Shaman in trouble, though, because the Thunderous one is hot on his heels. We see the Big Un punching the Thunderous one. Mazdamundi gets away, though, and is able to get his 22% damage resistance up here for the units fighting under the shield. That is not going to be great for the Greenskins, though. Mazdamundi tries to escape, and that is also not going to go well. He's in trouble. He may be down. Very, very low on hit points. There's a few arrows coming in from the Rusty Errors that may sink him. Yeah, they do. The Mazdamundi dies, but the Gabo Great Shaman routed in the meantime and is going to be chased off the field rather unceremoniously by these Pterodon Riders. So the Greenskins got trouble. The Rogue Idol is immensely powerful. Very, very powerful, but does he have enough hit points to try and tank all the lizards? We'll see. It's actually slightly in favor of the Greenskins at the moment, according to the power bar, but I mean, you can see the damage here that the Rogue Idol does. It is huge damage. 700 and something weapon damage. It is massive. Most of its armor piercing, too. So armor is going to be almost explicitly ignored when the Rogue Idol lands some hits. I think he does good splash damage. I'm not 100% certain how his damage applies, so to be curious. They can't really keep up with the Bastillodon. It's able to kind of just stay in front of these goblins, and I can guess what the lizard... Yeah, this is what I figured they would do. Lead these guys far enough away from support, and then just pinch them with another unit. See, the terror took place in the goblins before, one of the units before the Thunderous one even charged. And quite honestly, I'm pretty sure I would run away too if I saw myself getting charged by this electric dinosaur here. That is quite terrifying indeed. The Greenskins lost some of their much-needed fodder there, but to be fair, it probably would have been lost relatively quick in a melee anyway. These troops that were standing here are going to get outed by the Thunderous one too, so a very good performance by the Thunderous one so far. Rogue Idol only has 64 kills, but we may not know exactly how much damage was done. Oof, the Mangy Marauders get a face full of sunshine there from the Solar Engine. And I would imagine that the River Troll Hag is probably done for here too, because these Chameleon Skinks also have poison weapon damage. As long as they can keep up, keep tagging her. Oh no, she came back from routing. Her leadership can stabilize. She might be able to... Nope, it didn't. It didn't. And there was a Skink Chief in hot pursuit here too. Rusty Errors are out of ammunition. The Big Un can replenish his ammo at the cost of health. I don't know if that's a great idea at this point, though. However, the Rogue Idol is going to just sit here and get shot by the Solar Engine, and there's very little he can do about it. I'm going to fast forward for just a minute, just kind of see what happens. I think the Rogue Idol did sacrifice some hit points and replenish a little bit of ammunition. And you can see that the lizardmen are going to pick at it here, and he's going to throw all of his rocks out of rocks. And you can see the lizardmen still wanting to just kind of clean up all the greenskin units. It's still giving the rogue idol a fair chance here. I don't see how it happens. But then again, I don't know. Oh, he used the ability again to get more ammunition, so he's down to a little under 6,000 hit points. I don't know if that'll be enough, because taking on a Thunderous One and the Bastiladon, not to mention you've got the leadership buffing ability of these Skink Chiefs. And any unit that has terror won't be terrorized by the rogue idols. That includes the 2 single entities. That's going to be a bit of a rough deal for the greenskins. The lizardmen may be trying to separate these units out. Here comes the Thunderous One. Ooh. He put down a pretty good hit, but then the rogue idol put down a good hit too. But this is where the rogue idol gets in trouble. There's going to be too much attacking it. Leadership is going to be rough, despite its ability to do a lot of damage. Yeah, and see, the lizardmen can hold it in place while getting a cycle charge with other units. They can continue to charge it from all sides. There's a terror route on the pterodons. Cycle charge there. Yeah, rogue idol has taken a lot of damage. Just the lightning strike didn't do anything to the rogue idol. He is throwing down. He is now out of control though, and does not look like he's got the hit points left to finish this fight. Hasn't landed another hit on the Thunderous One there, despite animating some hits. Pink Chiefs are out of ammo. Oof, boy, that was a big one. When he does land a hit, it is pretty painful. But this is going to be a victory for Zero. So the first game is going to go to Zero and his Lizardman army here. A very close victory over Dark Phoenix and his Greenskins. So I want to see a couple of units here. Mazdamundi, a lot of damage dealt, pretty decent value, not near as much as he cost, but still, he did a good job of crowd control overall. The Thunderous One freaking owned. Look at this. I mean, that is some fantastic value off the Thunderous One. Not bad on the Bastiladon with Solar Engine. The Gabo Great Shaman did pretty decent too, up until it was routed. Honestly, that's quite a bit of damage done for the Rogue Idol too. So not bad performance there. I mean, I think the Rusty Errors did a pretty darn good job here as well. So GG's to both players. So at this point, Zero is up 1-0. Again, this is a best of 5. So let's move on to Game 2, see how that goes. Alright, Game 2 is going to be in the Iron Sand Desert with Dark Phoenix repping Norska, led by Wulfric the Wanderer on a Mammoth, supported by a Shaman Sorcerer, Lore of Metal, that will have Final Transmutation, amongst other things, while Chaos is going to be led by none other than the Prince of Slaanesh, Sigvald, the most magnificent, and Sigmund's artillery piece here, well chosen, to look very magnificent along with him. He's going to be supported by a Chaos Sorcerer, Lore of Shadows, and have from an Umbral Pendulum, which is going to be great way of mopping up an infantry fight rather quickly. 2 Chaos Spawns supporting some Marauders, and we got some more Marauders up front, and then a backline of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, 1 more Marauder back there with them. Both factions have gone heavy on Javelin-armed Horsemen. This is to be expected. I'm not surprised at all, though a pretty bad stroke of luck here for Zero to start with, as he loses a Marauder Horseman unit to the Norscan Ice Wolves. We're going to mop it up rather quickly. Then we've got more Norscan Ice Wolves over here who have already caught some Marauder Horsemen. I like the combination of Wolves and Horsemen, looking to get a mobility control and then probably hoping to do a lot of Javelin damage, and then slowly work his way in with Wulfric and the mainline infantry here, which started way back in order to avoid some damage. So it's going to be an effort by Dark Phoenix here to gain the mobility supremacy, and then deal as much damage as possible with javelins. And it's not going bad so far. It's not perfect for him, but he's killed a decent number of Marauder Horsemen and has some advantage here. But, I mean, there's still a fair number of Marauder Horsemen left as well. We'll see what happens. The Soul of Damnation, remember, has a leadership debuff, I believe it does. So let's go in and check that out. That may just be all Hell Cannons then. I was thinking it did a leadership debuff when it hits. It's got this boom ability and Blood, which helps it, and then Soul Devourer, which gives, holy crap, an extra reload skill. So, interesting. See the Norscan Ice Wolves here get driven back. They got in over their head, a little bit too close to these halberds. This is really gutsy move here, too. Dark Phoenix charging in. He's, again, kind of getting in over his head here. Very desperate to get rid of the Marauder Horsemen for the Chaos Warriors, and he should want to get rid of them. Definitely, because if he can, it's going to give him a lot of advantage where, for instance, he can unload all those javelins. All of the infantry, for the most part, where Chaos is unshielded, you know, with the exception of just a few Marauders. Shaman Sorcerer here. You know, he could be attempting to get a blob set up for Final Transmutation as well by making these charges. I'm not 100% certain. This Final Transmutation does a lot of damage, even if it's not all single entity units. You got a lot of Chaos blobbed right here. It's very possible we'll see that. Got Wulfric over here too. He does have his Sea Fang, which is kind of like a wind spell. Yeah, sure enough, Final Transmutation. That's going to do a lot of damage to Chaos. That's going to hurt. So Norska getting some damage done there. And Wulfric is looking to come in and capitalize on some of the disorder, but you can see Chaos wanting to deny Wulfric the engagement he wants, those Marauders, and instead is just slinging Chaos Spawn at him because they're unbreakable, and they're pretty good damage dealer. Wulfric doesn't have huge armor, and Chaos Spawn are actually a pretty good way to hold him still and do some damage. In the meantime, we do have these Javelin-armed horsemen back here completely unopposed at this point. And if these halberds stand here for long, boy, they're going to get shellacked because they don't have any shields. Armor or not, you can't just sit here and take javelins. It's going to be a lot of pain because that's 28 missile damage. It's going to be brutal. Soul of Damnation's taking shots at Wulfric, I think hoping to just score some hits, and honestly it might as well. Wulfric is probably the biggest threat to Chaos here. That Shaman Sorcerer. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of horsemen left here. And yeah, look at this. Just while we turned away for a second, look at the damage being done to that Chaos Warrior with Halberd. It is dropping hit points like crazy. It is a great target for those Marauder Horsemen as well. Sigvald taking a charge from Wulfric, and Wulfric hits him with the Hunter of Champions too, really debuffing him, and Sigvald taking almost no damage. And the Mammoth, that is pretty amazing. Even debuffed his melee. I mean, that was very fortunate for Sigvald. He just shirked off what should have been a pretty huge amount of damage. Ooh, over here, a Pendulum and Sea Fang coming at the same time. So the Pendulum wrecks Norska, and then Sea Fang wrecks Chaos. So a mutually assured destruction over there by the two players. Continue to watch this. I kind of feel like Chaos has an edge at this point. Just not a lot of chaff left here for Norska. And Wulfric did not get the damage done that he needed to on Sigvald. Now, of course, Sigvald can heal too. And his own Marauder Horsemen, despite kind of having a run of the battlefield here, have not dealt with the halberds yet. Some of the other key units that he needs to, though. I mean, definitely getting some damage done. This was a really risky move here, though. This unit had ammo left, and he still just went ahead and charged it into the Soul of Damnation. I think concerned about the damage that it's going to do to his infantry and to Wulfric, and he should be concerned about it. But, I mean, it is definitely risky to not get all those javelins pumped into the Chaos infantry. See over here, a bit of a mistake here, too, where his horsemen really trying to get to the Soul of Damnation and then end up getting caught by Marauders again. Wulfric is taking a lot of damage over here. Nice support here, though, by the Marauder horsemen, tearing into these Chaos spawn. See, the Shaman Sorcerer is going to have to stay away from Sigvald. Sigvald is a really, really good duelist. Not who you want to be in a duel with. He's got very excellent melee defense, and he heals. Solid armor as well. Big shield, so he's fairly resistant to missile fire on top of it all as well. He's not very mobile, which is where he'll be a little bit lacking. He's not going to be tearing into a target like Wulfric. May get some damage done here and there, but he'll mostly just resist the damage that Wulfric normally does to units. those hits from the Soul of Damnation aren't doing a ton, but they'll add up given the time. Let's look at the Marauder Horsemen here. They're going for another shot back here. Charge from the Marauder Horsemen, trying to clear out these Chaos Marauders. Didn't quite work. Final Transmutation in here, which was probably hoping to do some damage to these units, and it did. Ooh, some nice javelin volleys here. The Soul of Damnation is in rough shape. But when you have these single entity artillery pieces, without the artillery piece destroyed, it can continue to fire. Charge from the Shaman Sorcerer. Gonna put some extra damage in here too. He should be able to escape without too much trouble because he's gonna be quick on that horse. Power Bar has it pretty close here. Dealing with Sigvald is gonna be a real pain in the butt for Norska at this point. Theoretically, I mean, Wulfric could do it. If the two of them just went at it right now, maybe he could get it done. But there's quite a bit of chaff left here for Chaos. And not as enough for Norska, I don't think. And another shot from the Soul of Damnation here. It's Wulfric right in the butt. That is quite the proctology appointment there from the Soul of Damnation. Just open up and get probed. Have the Chaos Sorcerer, Lore of Shadows here, dueling it with the Shaman Sorcerer, Lore of Metal. Got the Hunter Champions debuffing the Shadow Sorcerer, and it was pretty effective, but the Metal Sorcerer is going to have to pull away because Sigvald is way too magnificent for him. Sigvald's shield here, the big javelins stuck in it. Very appropriate. Yeah, like I said, I think Norska has the uphill battle here. They've got to deal with these warriors with halberds. They do have a little bit of ammunition left. They would do well to get it into these halberds if they're going to have any prayer here. Already going to be hard enough to beat Sigvald, but if they can't get rid of these halberds, I don't think it can be done. Because Wulfric will take too much damage trying to fight Sigvald with all the halberds helping to protect him. Let's fast forward here and kind of see how this plays out, because you can see the players trying to get their last shenanigans in here. He did target the halberds there with some of their last remaining javelin ammunition, so it's a good call. Probably not a lot of magic left for either player. Got Foe Seeker helping Wulfric. It looks like he's trying to maybe charge one flank over here, or at least just not get himself charged. I'm assuming that he wants to do some charge blocking and then get some big charges in, hoping that the damage may be enough to swing things. Looks like Wulfric's still pulling out of that, wanting to fix these halberds. He doesn't want to get charged by them. Understandable. These halberds are going to be brutal, though, in this combat late in the game. They have a lot of melee defense as well. Standard die coming in from Sigvald. Going to give them a nice little buff there. We got fighter die, though, coming in from Wulfric. And Seafang inbound. Will it do some damage? Did some, yep, and then the warriors got terrified. So there comes the retribution there, once again, from the Shadow Sorcerer. Chaos lost pretty much all of its support there, and this is going to help Norska a lot. And I'm just very concerned about whether 1,211 hit point Wulfric can actually KO Sigvald. I'm not convinced he can. Sigvald's gonna score some hits, and he already has a couple of big hits, in fact. Sigvald does a lot of damage. It's just not heavily AP focused, but man, he ripped right through Wulfric right there. Wow. How many people are gonna stand in the face of the mammoth and get a chance to write home about it? We may see Sigvald tank this one for 0. I think he will. I just don't know what Norska can do about it. I think he's going to tank this. He's not unbreakable, but he does have very high leadership. I don't think he's unbreakable. Yeah, he's getting a lot of healing. Like, he is going to be absolutely brutal. So here he comes. The Slaneshi Prince fighting. He's the only one left in the army. Well, no, he's got the Shaman Sorcerer right here with him. Never mind. Take a look at it here. There's only 23 troops left for Chaos. Or sorry, yeah, 23 troops left for Chaos. Some of them are probably routing. If not all the rest of them. I think we really only have 2 left that are still going to be doing any fighting. Let's go ahead and fast forward, because no doubt Norska's going to try and regroup and attempt a final charge here. A charge for glory. Looks like Hunter at Champions was popped a minute ago, but premature because it wasn't followed up. Plague of Rust there, though. That was well placed. Help get rid of this Sorcerer Lore of Shadows. Wulfric is just barely alive back here at 53 hit points. Yeah, I think Sigvald is going to end up carrying this one. Let's see, here it comes. He is not really even losing health at this point. And of course, Wulfric is hesitant to charge in because any damage from Sigvald and he's done. Not to mention the fact that he could rout. I haven't seen this often. I haven't seen Sigvald be the one to carry Chaos. Unexpected, but he's gonna do it here. Yeah, he's gonna do it. Nice upgraded Plague of Rust there to really take a bunch of his armor away, but too little, too late. Sigvald's got this one. Yeah, he's absolutely got this one. In fact, he kills Wulfric in the middle of all of it, too. Wow. Sigvald the Magnificent indeed. What a battle there. So Sigvald carries. And Zero goes up 2-0 against Dark Phoenix. So Dark Phoenix is on the ropes here because it was the best of 5. If he loses any more games, then he is out. And his path to victory here requires him to go 3-0 in the backside of this matchup. So he has got an uphill battle for himself as Zero pulls off victory number 2 here in the matchup. And a pretty epic finish there by Sigvald, who got some nice damage value. Not enough for Wulfric. I think Chaos did a good job containing Wulfric. Pretty darn good job indeed. A lot of I was calling them Marauder Horsemen, Marauder Horse Masters. They were both. So they were both. But yeah, interesting stuff there. Anyway, let's go check out Game 3 and see what happens here. Right, Game 3 is going to be on Blue Reach River. It's a rather large map with some forest around the flanks, plenty of room to maneuver, a little bit of obstruction in the middle with a small lake. We're going to have a Spellweaver with high lore that has Tempest and Soul Quench, which is a long-range missile ability. Tempest is pretty obvious here to try and control what could be some pretty devastating flyers from the High Elves, so I like that pick. Be able to contain those flyers. For range damage, they're going to be 3 Deepwood Scouts. They will be supported by 5 Eternal Guard, with 3 of them have shields, 2 do not. There are 2 Waystalkers. I think both of them have the Arrows of Kurnos. And then we're going to have the Ethereal Stag Knights here, the Lost Sylvan Knights, and then 2 standard Great Stag Knights. So for those not as familiar, these units do heavy armor-piercing damage on a nice charge. They are not specifically anti-large, but obviously they're still going to get some pretty good damage done against anything that's well-armored. As for the High Elves, we're going to have 5 Spearmen up front. Alariel the Radiant, who is going to be on her Elven Steed, and already a pretty nice Soul Quench coming in there and getting some damage done. A nice long-range attack there. There are some Dragon Princes, looks like 3 of them, and they are supported by a couple of Illyrian Reavers. 3 Lothern Seaguard with shields. Now this is a nice pick from a skirmishing standpoint because the Seaguard lack the range, but with the shield and the spears, it makes them a rather versatile unit. If any light cavalry try to get the Seaguard, they will suffer greatly, and even infantry will take a moment to cut through them. So a nice choice, I think, by the High Elves. So Tempest will be useless because there are no flyers. So the Spellweaver, Lore of High, won't be able to use that, but Soul Quench and Apotheosis, still potential. Oh boy, Alariel just freaking ate it from the Arrows of Kurnos off the Waystalker. So that unit is already paying dividends for the Wood Elves. So that is going to be a pretty nice start there for Dark Phoenix, who needs a win to stay in this thing. Yeah, there's going to be some Earth Blood coming in here. A Soul Quench on its way. Let's check that out. Whether it scores a hit. It sure as heck does, and went right through the Dragon Princes and other units there to do it. But Alarielle healed off a lot of her wounds there, so... But, I mean, obviously, you know, losing those hit points early is never a good thing, regardless of whether you can heal it. A little bit of damage being done to the Spearmen by the Deepwood Scouts. Eternal Guard have some armor piercing. I would expect you have much better melee defense, obviously, out of the High Elf Spearmen. Not exactly sure this fight will go down, but there's a decent bit of damage. Like that Lost Sylvan Knight just pulled off a really nice charge here, so the High Elves could find themselves at a bit of an infantry disadvantage here as this fight begins. It looks like the Dragon Princes and the just Dragon Princes here trying to catch the Lost Sylvan Knights, probably hoping to be benefited by healing and other support from Alarielle. See if they can cut their way through this early and try and take the Wood Elf Cavalry off the battlefield. Now, Wood Elf Cavalry is quite a lot more capable since the DLC that the Wood Elves got. Here, Alarielle doing what Alarielle does. This fight is going to turn into a very bad engagement for the Wood Elves. They are, however, able to keep this Eternal Guard right here in the way of all these High Elf units, so that's very nicely done. Here comes the Reavers. They are initially kind of charging forward here, maybe looking to continue to fix these. Ooh, no, they're going to turn out of there, as they should. Sea Guard are now in range of the Deepwood Scouts. However, that infantry fight, as I kind of suspected it might, with some of the damage done, it went quickly for the Wood Elves, who are now going to be able to move in and pressure the Lothern Sea Guard. These units can hold up, but the Lothern Sea Guard aren't going to want to fight this. It's not really how you want to spend your rather expensive archers that are needed to kind of help clean up some of the Wood Elves here. So not a great situation there for Zero. But he is starting to pick up some steam in the cavalry fight. The Lost Sylvan Knights took some damage. One of the Great Stag Knights is out. However, remember, there is another one over here that hasn't even been used yet. But look at this, Alarielle taking massive damage along the way. She is going to come back from routing, but she is in bad shape. Not a ton of healing left available to her. This not boding well for the High Elves. They wouldn't want to lose Alarielle here. She's actually really some of the only magic damage that would be really helpful at getting rid of the Lost Sylvan Knights. See, terrified Lost Sylvan Knights cause terror because they're an ethereal unit. Apotheosis is going to keep adding some hit points to them. They are really shredding here. Whew, yeah, archers are pouring fire into this. Got the Waystalker supporting, you got the Spellweaver supporting, so big, important fight back here. Where Alarielle got to. Okay, she's swinging around in the woods back here. Maybe looking to get in and support from there, from a secure, hidden position. That cavalry fight souring a little bit against the High Elves. The High Elves managed to get their Lothern Sea Guard mostly free, with some spearmen, but still being pursued by Eternal Guards. The Eternal Guards are hurting. I don't know if they can take out those Sea Guard. Be rather tough units. Still a pretty close fight according to the power bar, though slightly in favor of the Wood Elves, and I think I would agree with that assessment at the moment. Mostly because of the shape that Alarielle's in. She's going to give some Earthblood heals here. The Illyrian Reavers. Now, where this gets tricky is you can keep trying to heal these units, and just at a glance, when you look at their health bar, there's a lot to be... Oh, boy. Ooh, yeah, Alarielle took even more damage from another Arrows of Kurnos there. Yeah, that's rough. She's going to use Fa's Protection, try and keep herself alive. And she's got the Arcane Conduit going on. Here comes the drop of a Star of Avalor. Now, you use it or lose it, right? And some of these units are gaining some hit points, others are not. Because remember that the amount of hit points you can gain back is really capped by the number of units that are left. It's not like Invocation to Heck, you know, where you can resurrect units once you hit the healing cap on all the models who are still alive. So there's only so much healing you can give these units. Take what you can get, though, I think, if you're the High Elves, so got to use it somewhere at this point, and Alarielle is basically heal capped too, so got to use it. The Lothern Sea Guard did, for the most part, manage to survive and have a lot of ammo, and they're late into this game, so that could be a factor. Lost Sylvan Knights still very much alive. this. Let's see what happens to the Great Stag Knights as they make this charge. They don't have really high armor, and a lot of their Sea Guard are quite capable against large. Yeah, they held their own pretty nicely there against a heavy cavalry charge. This Lost Sylvan Knights could potentially terrorize these Dragon Princes. Yep, there goes one, terror routed. It's like the Deepwood Scouts are out of ammunition. You still got a Waystalker back here with a lot of ammo. Another one over here with ammo. I mean, that does not bode well for the High Elves. Alariel is still here, just hanging out way back here trying to stay alive. I mean, she is not really going to be a factor in the battle. Oh man, the Lost Sylvan Knights are just starting a terror rout here. There goes the Dragon Princes. Things looking quite bad for Zero at this point. Looking quite good for Dark Phoenix, who needs to win this or else the series is over. So the Wood Elves, oh yeah, they're in a very solid position. There's another terror rout. Yeah, this is going to be brutal here with the terror from the Lost Sylvan Knights. So that is it. That is going to be it. A well-fought fight here. A pointy-eared slug-out, so to speak. That Lost Sylvan Knight, I think, was one of the clutch units here. It's very difficult for the High Elves to kill. Very difficult for them to kill, and it did a lot of damage. Really helped shake things up. So here you go, you're going to get a Wood Elf victory over the Aesir. Pointy-eared supremacy. Let's take a look at the stats after. There's a couple of units that I want to get the stats on. Specific, yeah, the Lost Sylvan Knights here. They were owning. They were owning, and that's kind of what I expected there. Let's check out some of the other Stag Knights, though. Pretty solid performance off that Stag Knight. This was the only one that I think kind of got caught up a little too early. Decent performance out of the Deepwood Scouts, for sure. And, yeah, not bad performance out of the Eternal Guard, either. Oh, my goodness, look at these Waystalkers. That is money in the bank right there, with the value that they did. So that was really nice work by the Waystalkers. So GG to both players again. So now it is 2-1, still in favor of Zero, going into Game 4. Alright, Game 4 is going to be on Langwheel, and it's going to be a Lamian Vampire Lord on a dragon, supported by a Necromancer and a White King, and that is going to be Dark Phoenix's main character core there. He's got a few Crypt Horrors supporting a line of Graveguard with Great Weapon, who are then being charge shielded by zombies. So the zombie is going to be the charge shield now. Lamian Vampire Lord, got a nice debuff to it and a nice buff for itself, so it can be quite a good fighter, depending on whatever the situation is. Now, Zero over here has Skarsnik, which I think is a good pick against the vampires. He is going to be anti-large, armor-piercing. He's got the Fermented Fungi, supported by a Gabo Big Boss, which you really want the extra leadership. You do got a Rogue Idol and a Giant, which is a very good unit at tanking down vampires. A couple of Black Orcs, again, importantly, immune to Psychology. And Savage Orcs are immune to Psychology as long as their Frenzy remains intact. We have some Night Gabos back here. And then we've got the Orc Airboys, which is going to be difficult to support here. But essentially, we're going to see the Greenskins try and hold out against the vampires. Now, if the vampires want to succeed, they're going to have to take out some key Greenskin targets. Vampires are not particularly good at anti-large. This army is not a particularly anti-large focused army for the vampires. There is quite a bit of AP, though, with the Graveguard. And you do have the White King, and you got the Crypt Horrors with additional AP. You got the Lamian Lord, who can do some good damage. So I think that some of the key targets here is the vampires need to clean out the Black Orcs. They want to win. I say if they want to win. If Dark Phoenix wants to stay in this series, he's going to have to clean out the Black Orcs and then try and do something about Skarsnik. Won't be easy, but to get rid of the Greenskins, obviously going to be great if you can get rid of their leadership, if possible. You can see the Rogue Idol here, just a massively damaging unit. Let's see what some of the different tricks are. Vampire Summoning on top of the Airboys. It's a great call. We got the Necromancer. Got the Forbidden Rod here. Oh boy, those loonies just shredded a Graveguard. Great weapons. So that is not the start that the vampires wanted. That was brutal from the Night Goblins. I mean, they wrecked that Graveguard with Great Weapon. Over here, we're going to see Some Grave Guards moving in on these Black Orcs. We're kind of falling back here. The Black Orcs should be able to tank their way through, but if there's Crypt Horror support, that's going to be a rough fight for the Black Orcs, because they'll get poisoned. Really slow down their damage capability. Remember, the Vampire Infantry is pretty crappy, but where it's going to excel is just the fact that it won't break. The Greenskins will just have to stand and fight it. Alright, Dragon's going to come over here and help try and break up some stuff one piece at a time, I think. Nice hit there from the River Troll Hag. Lightning Reflex is in place, though, which is going to give some damage resistance. White King being attacked by a giant. Let's check out the Black Orcs here and see what's happening. Yeah, back here, these Black Orcs are getting savaged here. The Seduction was put in place, which makes them not even really be able to attack. We had a nice charge by the Crypt Horrors. Looks like they're trying to cycle charge while the Grave Guard keep them fixed. Yes, they are. What a play here by Dark Phoenix. Great play. Yeah, Zero is going to be in a heck of a fight here. Power bar is still sitting about 50-50. Trying to get a handle on what's going on here. The Giant's still in very good health. Skarsnik is still in pretty good shape. There was a Wah just popped. Vampires still have some Grave Guard with great weapons, though. 2 units that are very healthy. Getting more summons. The Greenskins are losing chaff at a pretty alarming rate here. For the Greenskins, that is. They're down to almost no chaff. And I feel like that the Vampires, despite not being particularly good at being anti-large... Oh, is this a Purple Sun? Oh, gosh, yeah, it is. Pretty good. It's not going to be absolutely devastating, but it was pretty good. Got some damage done. But this is kind of getting out of hand for Zero here, I think. Yeah, he lost his Gobbo Big Boss back here to a Terror Route. Skarsnik is now in big trouble. See the Giant going after the Lamian Vampire Lord, as well as the Spirit Leech, and Mither making it very difficult for the Vampire Lord to get away, but still somehow managing to do it. Fermented Fungi, though, berserks it. So the Lamian Lord just diving back in. Fortunately for it, though, the animations kind of keep it moving. And not a lot of damage done for the Greenskins, so I'd say that was pretty fortunate. With Lamian Vampire Lord now out of the Fermented Fungi control. Greenskins are in trouble. There's just a lot of vampires here. I don't think the Greenskins can dig their way out of it. The Purple Sun's a great call in terms of a spell to have. I'm guessing he wishes he had enough magic to keep dropping those, because it is just going to be very difficult to do anything about all the vampires. Look at this, a Dire Wolf out here too, so any regrouping units are going to have to face the Dire Wolf, so very good call by Dark Phoenix. Oh no, there goes Skarsnik. He did come back from routing, but he's separated now. Greenskins are toast. Dark Phoenix is going to make this 2-2, which, I mean, unless something crazy happens, this is going to Game 5, folks. Pretty exciting series here. Starts off 2-0 for Zero, and now 2-2. It's my projection here, obviously. So yeah, with the loss of Skarsnik, it's over. No way the Greenskins can hold this together. So this is going to be it. Yeah, so Greenskins are going to carry this. That's going to send it to Game 5. You can see the leadership just falling apart. Or sorry, not Greenskins. Vampires are going to carry this. And the Greenskin leadership's falling apart. That is that. So we'll take a look at the stats. And there we go, 2-2. We're going to go to a Game 5. What's in the replay here. Check out some of the units here. The Lamian Vampire Lord getting some nice damage done. Let's check out the Grave Guard. Yeah, not bad. They were tanking. Yeah, for almost no hit points lost. These Crypt Horrors were owning as well. So that was a really well done there by Dark Phoenix. Killing a bunch of single entities is not particularly easy with the vampires. When I first saw his army, I was a little concerned about his ability to do it, but that's a very tanky infantry line too. And then backing it up with Crypt Horrors, it's just a lot of damage dealing. And then the fact that the Greenskins have to try and kill a giant. Fermented Fungi is a great way to pin it down. It's just that there was nowhere in that battle where the dragon really got pinned down in such a way that Greenskins were really able to take advantage of it and kill off the Vampire Lord. So there was some good damage being done by their single entities, but they just didn't have the support they needed in the end. And the Black Orcs just didn't get any value out of that either. So it's a place where Zero suffered there. Anyway, let's go to game 5 and check it out. So I'll see you there. Alright, so game 5 is going to be Dark Phoenix leading the Lizardmen with his red-crested Skink Chief, supported by a Skink Priest, Lore of Beast. We're going to have a couple Chameleon Skinks, some Saurus Warriors, and a few Skink cohorts of differing types. Got some Ripperdactyl Riders. This is an anti-infantry, armor-piercing, poison melee attack type unit. Pterodon Riders, one with Fire Leech Bolas, which is good against unarmored infantry. And we're going to have Cetra, the imperishable Tomb Cat here. He's got 9 lives, apparently. And sometimes it feels like it when you're fighting Cetra. He just doesn't want to die. His army here, he's got a couple of his Shabti with Great Bow, some nice range components, supported by a Casket of Souls, so some really nice range control here for the Tomb Kings. And then Sepulchral Stalkers as a support unit. Now, their missile attacks are pretty brutal. They do a lot of damage. They're very close range attack, but when they land, they do very good. And then they're decent melee combatant against large. Their melee attack is pretty crummy, but the damage they do is pretty decent. But I mean, melee attack tends to be crummy for undead units because they don't rout. So I think it's kind of the way of balancing them off. And then we got the Eyes of the Desert version of the Sepulchral Stalkers on the other side. Now remember, they can stalk. Pretty crazy because they're pretty large. If you see, they get up here, starting to put some shots out. They're going to get hit by the Chameleon Skinks here. It's not going to be ideal for them. Back up. As far as infantry, we got some Skeleton Spears up front, some Skeleton Warriors, and then the Kepra Tomb Guard. And then at the back, and there is a single Skeleton Archer. As far as abilities for Cetra, let's go check that out real quick. I'll pin him on here. He's got the Wrath of Tra here, which is a nice explosion to get him out of trouble. Nehru's Incantation of Protection, a whole lot of protection for himself or an ally. And then we've got Shoff's Incantation of Cursed Blades, which is going to buff himself or an ally. And then, of course, this Unyielding Wheel, which is buffing the units inside that rather large radius. So, it should be an interesting fight. There's very little anti-large here for the Lizardmen. That looks a little concerning to me. Like, I'm very curious how the Lizardmen are going to deal with Cetra. And they do have the Chameleon Skinks. They've taken some damage, though. They also have some missile attacks from the Pterodon Riders that could slowly do some damage to Cetra, potentially. It looks like he's going to go chase some Chameleon Skinks over here and get some Ripperdactyl Rider charge for his troubles. Not exactly what the Ripperdactyls want to be fighting, though. Now we're going to get a Manticore summon. It's a pretty good idea. The Manticore could come in and pressure the missile units, cause some problems, so I like that call for the Lizardmen. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I really don't know how this goes. A lot of Saurus Warriors. It's going to be a bit of a problem, but I mean, Cetra is really good against infantry. I don't see a ton of ways for the Lizardmen to take out Cetra, though it's not impossible. It depends on kind of how this plays out. However, the Sepulchral Stalkers ended up being not the best pick here because there's just not a lot of large targets other than the Pterodon Riders, and that's where we're seeing the Sepulchral Stalkers help fight off these flyers. Their missile attacks, threatening a melee attack right here as well. I mean, look at those missile attacks, what I tell you. Not a lot of ammo and stuff, but they do some serious damage when they start to land. This Manticore is berserking. Doing some really nice control on the Casket of Souls, which is really good for the Lizardmen because these Saurus Warriors need to win and win big if they're going to help bring success to their cold-blooded masters here. See Cetra over here helping get rid of the cohort of Sotek, which is honestly having a pretty nice fight of it so far with the Kepra Tomb Guard. That explosion coming in for Cetra to help clean that up. Kepra Tomb Guard's pretty expensive and taking quite a bit of damage already. See how the Saurus Warriors start doing in this fight. I mean, they should rip apart skeleton units. Nice support here from the Ripperdactyl Riders. Surprised to see them charging into the Sepulchral Stalkers of all units. They stay there very long. They could take a lot of damage. Keep an eye on this. So the Skink Chief just kind of keeping his distance. Cetra trying to help in the infantry fight here because the infantry for the Tomb King's a little bit overwhelmed. He's done a pretty good support role so far. Kepra Tomb Guard are hanging in there. They will defeat the cohort of Sotek.
extra skeleton warriors heading that way. You can see some Realm of Souls healing going on. Herodon Riders with a nice palming run there. That was crazy damaging. That was a heck of a bomb run. See the Eyes of the Desert trying to get rid of yet another Manticore. Million skinks back here being annoying. Trying to get some final volleys in as the Casket of Souls. 90 kills and almost picked up a Chevron despite all of the Manticore attacks. That's a pretty impressive and valiant effort there by the Casket, but the Casket is done. Ripperdactyls finished it. So, despite there being no specific anti-large here, Tomb Kings are losing a lot of their chaff. That's going to leave Cetra very unsupported, potentially. Brutal explosion ability there. That didn't do as much to the Saurus warriors as I thought it would. They must not have been piled in as it looked based on their banners. They get pretty piled in, that ability can be pretty dangerous. Doesn't do friendly damage. Kepler Tomb Guard's still alive. This is a healing Tomb Guard unit that does pretty nice anti-infantry damage. Saurus warriors should hit back against them pretty decently too, though. It'll be a pretty good trade. They'll be dealing out some hurt to each other. Just gonna keep trying to swing around this, keep you all field of the whole thing here. Look at this, the Skink Chief still totally alive, and the Red-Crested Skink Chief is anti-large. I don't recall that, so that is actually very fortuitous. I guess it makes sense. It's kind of fighting with the same halberd-type weapon that we see the Temple Guards have. So that actually bodes very well for the Lizardmen, because Cetra won't be able to really do a lot of retreating, and then you've got an anti-large Skink Chief who also poisons him, so I do think the Lizardmen have a very good chance of pulling this off. Just by numbers here. I mean, it's already swinging in favor of them on the power bar, and this could potentially be an epic comeback by Phoenix from being down 0-2 and then potentially maybe going on a 3-win streak here at the end of it. Let's see, though. It's not over yet. Wouldn't write Cetra out. If he was on his Chariot of the Gods, I would be absolutely terrified for the Lizardman. His Chariot of the Gods is absolutely brutal against infantry. Ooh, here comes the explosion. Still not a tremendous amount of damage there. Kind of expected that explosion to do a whole lot more. And it really hasn't. And that Skink Chief is in here now. He's got Cetra poisoned. If he starts chewing up some hit points, this is going to sour real quick against Cetra. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see the power bar. It's going south real fast for Cetra. I guess I underestimated that little Skink Chief. Newfound respect here. It looks like Cetra the Imperishable is likely to be perishable. Yep, there he goes. That is going to be an epic comeback by Dark Phoenix. Like I said, it went down 0-2 and then managed to win it 3-2. Hey, really good games to both players in this, so really appreciate Zero and Dark Phoenix here for some entertaining replays, and thanks to both of them for participating in the tournament. It's awesome to have, see them participating in such a big tournament. Well done by both. Well done. Nothing to be ashamed of here, I don't think, for the players. Either one. So take a look at some of the stats here. I mean, this is going to be damage that's really just spread out across the entire Lizardman army. I don't think there was any one unit picked up any insane value here. Cetra was doing a lot of damage, but of course it ended up just falling apart in the end. And that was a really nice job, I think, of the Lizardmen to just keep pushing here. Really, it was just numbers on their side. Now, it's interesting, the Saurus warriors, again, they're not anti-large, but they're going to own skeletons for days. And remember, Saurus warriors are just one of those units, they don't have a particularly high attack, but when they hit, they do a lot of damage. They have really high damage. And they have kind of like a mid-range armor. So skeletons are particularly bad against them because skeletons don't have much armor. They take these big hits from the Saurus, and then the Saurus are just able to do very well in these fights. And so there wasn't any particularly large single targets for the Ushabti with Greatbow to capitalize, so that you can see that they were somewhat maintained. I mean, this unit did get some pretty good value, picked up a double chevron, and the Casket of Souls, again, for the short period of time it was in the fight, did pretty decent. considering how much pressure it took. This is a very dangerous unit, so a very appropriate reaction there by Dark Phoenix to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this series. This was a pretty awesome one. I will be trying to grab some more replays from the Warhammer World Championship. I do believe it's still going on. I could be wrong. I want to say the final match hasn't been played yet. But I will go ahead and show replays from it, even if it's already over, just because this should be pretty entertaining to get some out of here. And again, appreciate those who organized it. Thank you to the players. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 2.